Hi everyone, a little video about the Tempest. It's about kicks this time. I started first doing videos about the Tempest because I wanted to create some analog sounds only. I was a bit disappointed by the presets, how the Tempest was sold with presets that only came with samples. I'm not interested, I like samples, you can do great things with them, but the good things about an analog drum is to be able to tweak some controls, some macro controls, and still keep the transient and not mess with the envelopes and things like that. So that's what I was interested in, and I was looking for that to do some sort of underscore drum for soundtracks and things like that. So I didn't use this specifically for electronic music. So still, I spent some time creating my own sounds and obviously my own kicks. I use the kicks a lot, even in soundtracks. You need to do electronic music, but you have an orchestra, things like that. You want to add a very low, thick punch to go with your acoustic percussions and do some epic sound music. An analog drum is wonderful for that. And I had some other little stuff there. The Mutant bass drum, amazing module, quite large. SSF bass drum also, but I absolutely love the Tempest. I think what I want for a kick is three things, but let's just go for the sounds and I'll tell you about this later. Too much talking. Oh, so this is a little preset. I have the kick. That's going directly to my track 1, no effects, no EQ. Then I have a little bit of hi-hat and snare. Sorry, everything is on bound B, don't ask. Yes, and then a little bit of instruments there. Just this and maybe an arpeggiator or something. Alright, everything's dry, and but that's not the interesting part for now. I want to go to the kick, but it's interesting to listen to a kick in context. For me, you will hear some kicks I love. If you just hear them like this, you might think, okay, that's maybe that doesn't work that well, but with the mix, it's great. So this kick, wait, let me put my headphone. If you have some speakers, just put it loud. That's where you want to feel if that kick has or doesn't have a punch. And I could see on forum lately, I haven't been very active with the Tempest on internet, and I could see some posts about the Tempest, and again people would say, but the problem is the kick. And I think, unfortunately, the Tempest didn't come with great presets overall. Kicks, specifically for a drum module, it's a bit sad. For a drum machine, it's a bit sad. There's this amazing tutorial from Adam Schneider Music. You have absolutely the good basics here to make your kicks. These are basics. From this, you need to tweak around, get your flavor, get the punch you want. But there's this is good good stuff. So yeah. So let's go through the kicks. Basically, I have 20 kicks max in my folders because I wanted to keep that simple. Some are similar, some are different, okay? So listen to that one. I'm going to mute what's coming with it, this thing. I'm going to put in context. I like that kick because it's very, very low, very sub. It sounds a bit flat, but each time I use it in music, and a bit of context around it. Again, there's no compression here, no side chain, so that doesn't help. So it's nice to have a bit of treatment, of course. Another kick. So these kicks I have a punch I want. Again, I was saying for a kick, 3 things I want. I want a click, a very sharp little transient, like the first 5-10 milliseconds. Then you, of course, you have the tail, the release of the kick. It can be a resonant filter, an oscillator. You can pitch it down or whatever. These 2 things are quite easy to achieve. The hard part is the middle part. It's the punch, it's the thump thing. If you don't have that, you don't need the kick. The tail can be done with a bass, and the click can be done with a glitch. The punch in the middle is what you want from a kick in general, and hopefully from your analog drum machine. And it's not upsetting. You see people criticizing the Tempest, saying, "Oh, the Tempest cannot do this." I don't know how you're hearing this on your system. Maybe I'm not objective. Please comment about it. Tell me where I'm wrong. But I got the punch I need. And unfortunately, the mutant bass drum is not patched here, but I work my sounds with the bass drum, I love the punch from the bass drum, mutant bass drum, sorry. And I try to get in that type of punch. I don't want to imitate, I don't want to make a copy paste AB from like an 808, 909 thing. I want punch. That's what I want. So if I go to a preset, if I tweak and I get this sound I want, I don't care if it matches or not a classic bass drum, bass machine. Well, my English is not that great. Another one. This one has a little soundish. Look at that. Honestly, sorry, the sounds around and the preset is not that great, but it's simple enough just to get an idea. A good thing also to test with the kicks is repetition. The Tempest has some little problems with repeating fast notes. Sometimes envelopes would not reset. Let me tell this like that. I'm not sure that's the technical behind the problem behind it. I'm using a dedicated track output, okay, just to go to my track 1, and that's why that's when the envelopes have this little problem. If you do repetition, the second kick is caught with the first one, say. So if I remove the assignation and I just go to the channel 2, oh, sorry, now I have a, wow, I put a little reverb here. So I will not have that repetition problem if I go to channel 1, then the attack of the sounds can be a bit problematic. This is another version of the same sound, basically. I will show you some of the tricks I'm using. This comes with a little sample, and I will show you why I use samples. Just come on. Just listen to that, let it sink, and tell me the Tempest is not punchy. And wait, look, I'll give you some hints a bit later, but just one thing. When I got the Tempest first, what I wanted to do is push settings, push levels, push feedback, try to get, like, when you don't get the sound you want, it's common with other tools you might use, and you start to sit on the EQ, and you start to push things and resonance and things like that. But what you're doing is you're messing with the dynamic, and you're losing that punch in a sense. It's like the sound engineers when they want to keep some headroom to keep dynamic. I don't know how you pronounce it in your mix. If you just go to the maximum loudness, then you squash everything and you don't have the punch. And I reworked all my sound from below, and I try to keep level down, be very careful with the feedback. For me, the feedback now is just to remove a bit of transient or give a little bit of I missed the adjectives in English. little bit of fatness, but I'm not over pushing this. I'm just giving a little bit of this. And that's when, in the end, I get these kicks that for me are absolutely punchy and too punchy. Now my problem is sometimes I need to calm down the sounds. For example, I'm sure that this sound, if I go to the envelope, I have a 23 attack on the VCA. And if I let me 22, 1, going down. That's a snappy, punchy motherfucker. I love it. All right, next one. Next sound. That's not interesting. Okay, this one is quite an acoustic type. So I use that sometimes for soundtrack. And I get the punch. If too long, you just move a knob and you remove that. So that's what's great with an analog system. You just go to this parameter you want to act upon, where when you work with a sample, everything gets caught in your treatment, and sometimes good results too come out of that, but that's not what I wanted here. One like this. This little table is very not stable, so I'm struggling to push the buttons. Again, there is a sample on this sound. So just to show you how I use samples, I never use a sample to make a kick. I make a kick, and then using the basic analog stuff, I normally have one oscillator or the high resonance frequency. Again, go to these Adam Schneider tutorial. He explained this very well. But, and then for the very first few milliseconds of the sound, I like to use a very short sample. Sometimes high pitch, this one is plus 11. And it gives, with a very little something, an identity to the kick. So let me remove it. So that's my kick, and the kick is working on its own. This one is a bit softer, but I have that punch. So the click I removed here, this one, let me just, is it possible? So that's a filter, so I'm going to open it, but let me check where the filter is 6. That's the sound, that's the sample. So you can see where it's not making a kick, or if it's a kick, it would be like a very high filtered kick. I'm just putting this sample to get the a transient that I want. I could also do it with noise or fast dip pitch on an oscillator and things like that. The good thing with that is that then very fast you can switch to alternate colors, and it makes an impressive result. You don't need to have it that much. Look at that. That's the sound. That's just the sample I'm using, right? And what else? Well, that's pretty much it. So one thing to say about the volume, every sound I create, I try to have it, let me look at this one, So the volume of the sounds is set as at 102, feedback is 0. Volume is 102, and then this volume goes in the mixer. I'm not talking about the mixer volume. The mixer volume is to the maximum here, okay? Look, all my other sounds are set to like 20 in the mixer. So basically I have my kick very loud in the mixer, but the sound itself, you have a volume parameter. If you go near the feedback window, you have a volume parameter. And I try to match all my kicks to have the same loudness, so that when I have a beat, I just scroll through my kicks and I don't have that thing going on where the mix it's not working with the mix. So they all work. So sometimes I have some kicks that are like 70, rarely, yeah, obviously I have some to 127 because that's the lowest kick, I don't know which one it is 127. It's like probably a very soft. All right, this is a nice one. It's a bit long. I like long and low kicks. That's very good. There's no treatment. From there you can do other stuff, but as it is, it's a good one. Medium one. Nice textures, low. And that's my last kick. Alright, so basically these are my kicks. And I find from a medium one to a more textured, timbered acoustic one to a more electronic or modern thing, I have quite a variety of kick that I absolutely love. And what a pleasure to have it and say, alright, I just want to open a bit of filter, just pitch it to tune it my track, but I'm not messing up with the transient, so yeah. So that's a basic review of my kicks, and I'm super happy for you guys to comment on how you feel, how punchy they are, and does it change your mind on the Tempest? Why? Because the Tempest today is at a crazy price. Secondhand, you have one at 1,200. If you guys think the Tempest can't do that kick and that video changes your mind, get a Tempest. It's time to buy it. Really, it's a very, very good instrument. I haven't talked about the performance. I absolutely love playing on that thing. The sequence is amazing. Live performance on this is a pleasure. Now I'm just working on this with a modular. She's driving the modular. All my drums comes from here, and it's just a pleasure. You have the macro effects here. You can program live. And the sound is here. I don't understand all that thing on internet about saying, yeah, the Tempest, I don't know, I'd buy an Electron. Probably Electrons are amazing. On the specs, they're great. Demos I hear are good. You need to have one and judge it by yourself, and to how you get to the sound, how you program it, things like that. For me, Tempest, super happy. Okay, that's it.